Okay, I've worked my 1x1 ribbing for the first candle coat that we're making, the Norwegian style one. And we worked the ribbing flat. And so now we're ready to cast on the Steek stitches and then join in the round. Now, if you'll remember, when you're working in the round, you're always working on the right side. So that's why the pattern tells us to finish with a right side row, because once we join the two ends together, we're going to want to continue to work on the right side. But before we start in the round, we've got to add the Steek stitches. Now, if you were working on a project that required you to add the Steek stitches mid-project, this is how you would do it. You would, perhaps if you were going to divide for an armhole, you'd bind off the number of stitches needed for the armhole, and then when you came back around, you would want to cast on above the armhole for your Steek stitches, and this is how you would do it. Now you can do the simple E-wrap stitches or cast on, and that's fine too. But I like to use the cable cast on, so that requires me to turn the knitting to the wrong side temporarily, and I'll insert the needle between the first two stitches and then just treat it as if I'm knitting. Now, one of the things that we do with the cable cast on is to kind of give it a little twist and then put it back on the needle. So that's one. And then you just keep repeating this until you have however many Steek stitches you want. So that's 2. And I'm putting on 5. 3. Okay, and so this is the 5th one. Now, because we're casting on in all of the same color, it might be easier for you to distinguish these stitches from the project stitches with a stitch marker, although you can tell they're not part of it because there's no ribbing below it. But if it makes you feel more comfortable, feel free to do that. Use a stitch marker, and you can put one on the other side as well. So now I am using the magic loop method, but you could be on double pointed needles or on 2 circular needles, whatever you like to use for your small circumference circles. So in magic loop, the yarn starts from the back, and I'll simply join in the round, and it's pretty easy not to twist because you've got that ribbing already going on. Now the first stitch is gold, but the second stitch is going to be in our main color, and so now would be the time to join the new color. And then you would go and continue to work the chart the first row, and that's it. Now when you come back around to your Steek stitches, you'll want to work them, on this project we're working them in rows or columns, so you'll work them and that will be our Steek.